Good morning. So today I've got a very important presentation, and this is about the syllabus that you need to cover in order for you to pass your MRCOG Part 2 exam in the first attempt. This is the syllabus that I used for my preparation and it's helped me to pass the exam. Now you're not going to find it anywhere else because that's not, it's not published anywhere, and it's not something that the websites will tell you very clearly. So I thought I'll share with you exactly what I did. So that kind of gives you the framework, because then you kind of know when you are studying for it that this is the right lines and that's the right direction that you're heading in, because it's quite easy to get lost in the so many papers and the vastness of the syllabus. So have a little listen and let me know what you think. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because a lot of the syllabus that I'm going to talk about, I am making videos for it. I've already made some videos on it, and I'm hoping this will benefit you, because whilst I was revising for my exams, I didn't really have this sort of help, and that kind of motivated me to try and do something for you guys so that you don't have to go through the same thing that I went through when I was revising, and having to read each and every guideline and try and summarize it on my own was quite a lot of hard work. Right, so first things first, the green top guidelines. Now, this is the bread and butter for your MRCOG exams. You have to nail these guidelines. You have to know every depth and every little important figure and every little fact, everything that's mentioned in the guidelines. You have to know everything. There is just absolutely no excuse for you not to know anything that comes from these guidelines. Now, what I'm doing to help each and every one out is I'm making a summary for each of the guidelines. I'm already putting some of these on my website, but I'm trying to create a little booklet of all the summaries for all the green top guidelines, just at the right depth at the pace that you need for your MRCOG exams. So hopefully you all can benefit from it. Now, if there's any one of you who's interested in obtaining a copy of the handheld booklet, then please let me know and leave your email address in the comments on down below this video. Also, I'll be posting my email address, so if you don't want to put out your email in the comments, then just email me personally and let me know if you're interested. But I am working on it currently, and I'm just collating together a summary book for you, because the green top is what you really need to know. Now, the way to do your green tops is to bring up a guideline. So, say for example, it's the ECV guideline. So, you read the guideline once, top to bottom, everything, literally every single page, every single diagram, every single flow chart. Once you've done that, you then make summaries about what you've learned from the guideline. Now, that summary, for example, may account to like one page, but then that's not enough. So you then need to summarize that one page into about 5 or 6 lines. Now, those 5, 6 lines is what you will need to do for your exam, and that's the kind of summaries that I'm looking to make for you. Just very summarized versions, so you sat there night before your exam and you can just quickly go over everything. That's exactly what I did for my exam, and that's how I passed it. So next thing is NICE guidelines. Now, although the green top guidelines are quite vast and they cover a lot of the topics, they don't cover everything. So, like your NICE guidelines have your cervical screening, your fertility, your heavy menstrual bleeding, cesarean section guideline, lots of those kind of guidelines that you also need to know for your exam. You've also got your uh, GDM guideline and your preeclampsia guideline. So all of that is NICE guidelines. So similar thing to the green top. You then, whatever topics are not covered in the green top, you then do the NICE guidelines for. Now, if anyone in the audience is interested in getting my in-depth sort of every topic that you need to know for the exam, um, schedule for the exam, then again, drop me an email, drop me a comment in the comment section, and I can forward you something. So that it will be like a summarized version of what you need to cover for the exam. The next thing you need to do is your BGCS guidelines, and this is your cancer guidelines, your oncology guidelines, so your endometrial cancer, your ovarian cancer, your vaginal, your vulval cancers. So all of those cancers are covered with the BGCS guidelines, and they do it really, really well. So they talk about the presentation, the investigation, the treatment, excellent, like completely, completely well, exactly in depth into what you need to know for the exam. So again, I am making summary versions of these as well, and if anybody of you is interested, then let me know. The next is your FSRH guidelines, and these are the contraception guidelines. Again, extremely important. So you've got your combined pill, your implants, your Mirenas, your all sorts of contraceptions, how they work, and what's their efficacy, and what's the failure rate, and what happens if you miss a pill. All of those questions, again, very, very, very extremely important, and again covered by these set of guidelines really well. Now, I've already done some presentations on this topic on my YouTube channel. So please do explore and see if you benefit from these presentations and from these summary slides. The next is your BASH guidelines. These are all your infections and your HIV stuff. Again, extremely important. There's bound to be questions in your exam about this, and you just can't absolutely get this wrong, because if there's a question from a BASH guideline or like a straightforward guideline, you want to get it right, because it'll be a very straightforward question in terms of what's the percentage of this, or what's the commonest bacteria, or what's the so you don't want to be missing out on numbers on points on getting these questions wrong, because there will be a lot of tricky questions in the exam that you want to spend time on and think about, and you need to leave some margin of error to get those questions wrong. But these are the questions that you need to maximize on, because these are from the guidelines that's published. It's out there. There's absolutely no excuse to why you shouldn't read these guidelines or you to know a figure. And it's just absolutely key to keep going over these things. And the only way you can do that is by making summary of everything, and then keep looking over it again and again and again until the exam. If you want personalized lessons on coaching for your part 2 or part 3 exam, then please do hit me and let me know. Again, there is a link on my YouTube channel to book lessons with myself. I'll also leave a link underneath this video. So if you're interested, then do hit me back, and we can arrange a mutual a timing, and we can do a one-to-one talk with you. I can go through stuff that you already covered or you haven't covered, and we can try and work out a plan that works for you, because what you don't want to do is keep doing this exam over and over again. You want to do it once and get it right and get it done. Now, this is quite important. Now, after you've covered all the guidelines, it's then you're moving on to the talks. And I would really recommend you move in that order, because the guidelines are the most important part of this exam. The talks are also essential, but if you haven't covered the guidelines and you're just doing the talks, that's absolutely no use. So you've got to do it in that order, and that's the order I did it in, and it worked for me. It's worked for so many of my colleagues who I've shared this with, and they've just benefited so much from it. And that's why I'm here making this video for you today, so I can share this with everybody out there. So I'm not keeping any information a secret. So this is the order that I worked in. This is the order most of my colleagues who've passed the exam in the first attempt have actually worked in as well. And this is the order I was taught by my seniors to go in and approach this exam. So stick to this order, and you'll have absolutely no problems passing that exam. So last 5 years of were TOGs. So again, because these are essential as well, and they are important, but TOGs can be quite boring to read. And after you've done all the reading on the previous guidelines, you probably don't have any brain capacity left. Now, this is why I am making guideline summaries for you on my channel so that you can just open a presentation and start listening to it. You could listen to it whilst commuting to work. You could listen to it whilst exercising. You could listen to it whilst you are out for a walk. Whatever you're doing, you can just play it in the background and listen to the important knowledge that I'm sharing with you in these talks. So hopefully, then when you go back and read these talk articles or you want to make your summary points, it's a lot easier for you because somebody's already gone through what the talk actually covers and the important points. So hopefully you won't even need to make your own notes and you can just stick to the summary slides and just carry on. Now I've done a few years worth of talks already on my YouTube channel. So listen to those and benefit from them because it's really free stuff. And I really wish that somebody had done this for me when I was doing this exam, but I'm being honest, and there's absolutely nothing out there at that time. And that's why I've thought to create this channel and help you guys out because I know how difficult it is to pass that exam, and I know how much effort we all have to put in to do that exam. So you don't want any of your efforts to to go to waste. So do listen to those summary slides on my channel. Now, if you were really particularly interested in a particular talk, or you wanted me to do a particular year of guide of talk summary, then do again comment or email me directly, and I'll look into doing that for you next. Strategy. Now, I personally did not really look too much into the strategy because, to be fair, by the time I'd done everything, I was quite exhausted already, and there's lots of knowledge and lots of points that you need to remember, and you really are running out of time. So, I personally did not do the strategy modules, but some of my colleagues have done them and they did benefit from them. So, it really does depend on the kind of learner you are, and if you think you need to still facilitate and augment your learning by visiting the strategy, then by all means do that and benefit from yourself from all the different modules that strategy covers. Scientific impact papers. Now, I did not, again, quite, an integral part of the exam, but I personally did not have the time to spend a lot on these scientific impact papers. I did, however, read a few. Now, I do remember there was a vitamin D one, and there was one about BRCA mutation or something. So I do remember a few articles that I did read quite a lot in depth and summarize some learning points from them because I thought if any questions do come up, it'll be from these particular articles. So I just looked through those and I, basically summarized it for myself. And if anybody of you is interested in my summary slides, and let me know and I will share it on this channel. But yeah, I personally did not put a big emphasis on the scientific and impact papers. But if you've got time, then by all means do look through them because they have got quite useful information, and all in all it just helps augment your learning. Well, that's it. Obviously, on top of all this, I did lots and lots and lots and lots of questions, and it's only by doing the questions you can read as many guidelines as you like, you can do as many summary slides as you like, you can listen to everybody in the world, talking about MRCOG Part 2, but and listen until you sit down and do the questions. That's when you will know for yourself whether you've actually understood what's been read and what's been said. So don't forget to do the questions.